What's up, everybody? My name is Parasite. Welcome back to Rebuilding Chelsea. Today we have Everton, our former club, in the Premier League, and then FC Sarajevo in the last game of the Europa Conference League group stage. We've played about a month since we last saw you, and it's been pretty good. We were last year for Watford and that Norwegian team. We then played Norwich in our first game. We had, again, a couple disappointing games in a row. We did win both of them, but just 1-0 victories. They had us sending off in the 74th minute, and we couldn't get another goal. That was kind of disappointing. Pedro Soler has been absolutely awful. In this entire stretch, he scored 1 goal, and it was from the penalty spot. He has been probably our worst player. After such a good start to the season, he has completely fallen off a cliff. I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, he's not going to be starting for this match because he's no longer our starting striker. I can't start a guy that's on a 6.4 average rating. And that's what he's been in his last 5 games. And he scored a goal in that stretch, but it was a penalty, so that's how bad he's been playing. Then played Birmingham in the EFL Cup 4th round. Bradley Nicholson in the 90th minute, rescuing the victory for us. Not very convincing in those 2 games, but we got the goal that mattered. We got through. Proven Busk did miss a penalty in that game, so that's disappointing. Fortunately, he's scored every penalty he's taken since. Then played Derby County, beat them 3-0. Bradley Nicholson with the goal. They had a sending off in the 37th minute. So we went to our 4-2-4. Bradley Nicholson scored. Vidovic scored a brace. Vidovic has actually been doing pretty well, especially if you look at this game against the Norwegian team in our second leg at home. He scored 5 goals in the first half. We were 6-0 up in the first half. We absolutely destroyed them. Vidovic was just, every single time he touched the ball, he put it in the back of the net. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't really played a whole lot of these games since because I really wanted to give Soler the chance. He played against Nordsjælland, but I wanted to give Soler the chance to turn it around, and he just hasn't done it. So we played Burnley, and we beat them 3-2. Mather, Genovese, and Ring with the goals. They scored in the 88th minute to make it look a little bit closer than it was. It was pretty much a comfortable victory, though. Then another couple disappointing performances in a row. A 2-2 draw with West Ham. They scored in the 94th minute, literally the last minute of the time. And they scored to equalize. And then against Nordsjælland, we drew 2-2 because they scored in the 93rd minute. We scored in the 85th minute from a Milan Vidovic penalty, but they scored in the 93rd minute to equalize, and that was just so frustrating. I think, Soler did score in this West Ham game. He got a penalty, though, so I not really going to count it. We then played Tottenham in the last match. We beat them 1-0. Andrew Mather with a 54th minute goal. Soler just with another terrible performance. That was my last straw with him. He's dropped now. So the squad for this game against Everton is going to look like this. Daryl Wilson's going to be up top. Obviously, Vidovic can't play because Everton is his parent club. So I probably would have started him if I had the opportunity to. Probably would have played Daryl Wilson on the right. Would have started Vidovic up top, but can't do that. And I can't start Soler. So he's dropped 6.52 in his last 5. And it's like if you look at his goal rating ratio, it doesn't look bad. 9 and 12 looks fine, but he scored like 9 and 6 or 7, and then he scored 8 and 6 or 7, and he scored 1 goal in the last 5-6 games. So yeah, he's been in horrible form. So Daryl Wilson's going up top, Enrique behind him, Ring on the left, F Young on the right, who's been after more first team football. I had to promise him that he'd give him a fair amount of playing time. So it's just, I had to make that promise because I couldn't really afford to lose him. I think long term, he's our second best right winger because Gavrich is 25 years old. He's not going to grow at all. I think F. Young has a little bit of growth left in him, even though he's not really growing at all. He says he has a little bit more potential. He's 23 years oold. I like him because he's versatile too. He can play on the left-hand side as well, just not in the more advanced position, but he can play left mid. So he's got a little bit of versatility to me well that Gavrich just doesn't have. He can only play on the right-hand side. So I like F. Young. I want to give him some game time, so he's going to start. Mather and Dawson in the middle. Alak, Blake, Genovese, and Bejan are normal back line with Gashi in goal. So this is our strongest squad I think is available to me. I think this is my first team right now. Soler is not a part of it, but let's see if we can get a good result against our former team. Where are they at in the league? They are currently 5th in the league, tied on points with West Ham. Just so 5th on goal difference, and actually just ahead of Man City on goal difference. So they're right in the race for the Champions League spots. We are currently leading the table with a game in hand, we're 4 points clear of Arsenal with the game in hand. So if we win this game against Everton, who they will be 2 games ahead of us then after this game, we're going to be pretty far clear of the rest of the pack. 7 points clear if we win this match. That's going to be pretty good. I'd like to see that. So let's get into this game, see if we can make that a reality. If we look at this Everton team, there's quite a few names that we still remember from our time there at Everton. Messalongas in goal, Jamie Marshall, Thomas Duffy, Halison Bruno, Benjamin Zigrovic, Marius Olaru, Jorgen Kaltov, but they've got some new names in there, and Ribeiro, Ewald, Jose, and Christofi. But even some familiar faces on the bench, Albericine, Myrov. I'm surprised they're not starting Myrov. Sepalak, Sousa, Rob Turner. So some names I'll remember. So it's going to be bittersweet, I think, but I want to win still. You say the media have given you a lot of credit lately, so go out there and put on a worthy display. Gonna dig them up for this game, big them up. Tell them I have faith. How are you approaching the task of breaching the Premier League's best defense? Looks like I built the best defense in the Premier League. Obviously, there's 2 players that aren't mine, but I made half of the best defense in the Premier League, so I feel pretty good about that. There are a number of ways that we could go about beating them. It only takes 1 goal. Everton's recent good run has them 4th in the Premier League form table. How much of a threat do they pose? They're going to make life hard for us. They're a good team in good form, and we'll have to be at our very best to get something. So let's get into this game. Kyle Talks is playing up top. We usually played him on the left wing. They're playing him at striker. I think he's an okay striker, but his finishing isn't extraordinary or anything. I prefer, I wouldn't have sold or loaned out Vidovic if I was them. As Ring's running down this left-hand side, maybe, I hate that they always shoot from that angle. Look for a ball across. That's your best chance of getting a goal. You're not going to score from that angle. Zigrovic they're playing a 4-3-3 with 2 DMs. So a little bit different than what we did. Genovese scores his 3rd goal of the season. He hadn't scored for a while. He didn't score until about 4 or 5 games ago. But since then, he's got 3 goals in that time frame. So he's really picked it up. Looks like he must be start gelling into the team, starting to get into our tactics, starting to feel comfortable with our set-piece plays. And that's great to see. And he gets our first goal. So we're 1-0 up after 13 minutes. Halison Bruno is a player I really want Halison Bruno. When I bought him, I was pretty excited because I thought he looked like he had a lot of potential. And he still has 5-star potential for this Chelsea squad, which I think is better than the Everton squad. So I think 5 stars for Chelsea is worth more than 5 stars for Everton. And he's still going to be one of the best players in the world. I think he's going to be the best ball winner in the world. I haven't seen a ball winner that's going to be better than him. That's a youngster that's going to be better than him yet. So I really like him, but they want a lot of money for him, so I can't really afford it. And I kind of got our 2 box-to-box midfielders. He would obviously play ball winner, but I'm playing them as box-to-box. I kind of have those 2 players on my team already, so I don't really have a spot for him either. So maybe I could, move, what's his name? Move Busk to being my backup deep line playmaker and kind of move on from Curtis because obviously he's 31 years old. He's not in our long-term plans. So I could make that change and bring in a ball-winning midfielder there, but I just don't think the money they want for Halison Bruno is worth it. They want $90 million for him, and I just can't justify that for a ball-winning midfielder who's not going to get good ratings. He might perform well, but he's never going to get a good ratings because ball-winning midfielders don't get good ratings on average. So that's been a pretty uneventful first half, though. We've got about 1 XG. They've got 0.3. And we have the possession. We have the shots on target. We've been the better team. Don't get complacent out there. It's 2 big teams kind of canceling each other out. They're obviously playing quite defensive with 2 defensive midfielders. It's like Thomas Duffy's having a great game. That's another player I was pretty excited for. As Michel Genovese scores his 2nd goal of the game. He has been in great goal-scoring form. He's a better goal scorer than Pedro Soler. He scored more goals in the last 3 matches than Pedro Soler scored in his last 12. Genovese getting up, heading it in from the corner. Maybe not 12. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but it's been quite a few games since he scored 3 goals. And he has 3 goals in his last 3 games. So I'm very happy with Genovese, how he's performing right now. I'd prefer, goal scorers from our forwards, but I'll take it from our defenders if we have to get it. I'll take set-piece goals if that's all I can get. As Ring's going to be throwing goal. He's going to go early, but he's hit the crossbar. Unlucky from John Ring. A great shot from outside the box. I thought he could have taken one or two more touches. They brought Alexander Douglas in, another former name that we know. Bejan looking to go down this right wing, looking to use his ridiculous pace. He's going to use Wilson's ridiculous pace to get on the end of that, but he puts it just wide. Again, I thought he could have taken one more touch, and I guess he couldn't have got it onto his right foot, but he had to go on his weak foot, so that's kind of unfortunate, but I still think he could have taken one more touch and got it a little bit closer. But he decided to go a little early, but put it just wide. I really want one of our strikers to be in good form. Daryl Wilson has been in pretty good form, but most of that's been from the right wing, so I'm not totally sure he's going to be in great form at striker. He's obviously not having a good game so far today on a 6.5 average rating. But I need to see something from somebody. Obviously, Milan Vidovic has been in pretty good form, so he's probably, my starting squad is probably Vidovic up top and Wilson on the right wing. Speaking of the right wing, F. Young is tired, so I'll take him off. Bring on Gavrich. Mather's all tired and on a yellow. I'll bring on Busk. Enrique is going to last for a little bit longer. See what happens in this highlight, but I don't think there's going to be enough for them to come back. Sepulak has come on the pitch. Another youngster I was pretty excited about, but his potential, since we've kind of scouted him recently, is not as good as I'd once thought it was. It was once 5 stars for Everton, but it's only like 3.5 stars for Chelsea, so he might not turn into the world beater I thought he might, but he's still a really good backup striker. As Ring's going to look to play through Gavrich. See if we can get something from Gavrich. He's not shown a whole lot recently, but I still think he's a really good backup to have. We have a lot of good depth at right wing, even if we're using Wilson at a striker. As I think I'm going to bring off Gabriel Enrique now. Oh no, I don't really have anyone to replace him because Mather has come off. Mather is kind of my backup attacking midfielder with the squad I have out there right now. So I wanted Soler on the bench. I guess I'll bring on Soler. Daryl Wilson's a little bit tired. He's playing poorly. Give Soler a shot. I think I'm going to play him in this next match against Sarajevo. Soler, that is. Just to see if we can finally get him out of his funk. Give him an easy team to play against. See if he can get in simple goals. Ring is through on goal. And John Ring continues his amazing form by scoring another goal. Only his 3rd goal of the season. But he's been getting a lot of assists as well. So he's been a huge part of this team. He's in the running for the best player in Europe. So that's great to see. And we've got a couple of players in. Gabriel Enrique's in for Wonder Boy, or whatever it's called. So he's in for that. He's in for best young player in Europe. So he's in for a couple awards too. I think he deserves them. He's been amazing for us. Obviously not a great game today, but on the whole, he's been very good for how young he is. He's one of our better players at 19 years old. I'm very happy with the result and the way you played. We beat our former team. Showed I'm the better manager. Because obviously I won the Premier League with Everton last time I was there. And to beat them with Chelsea, who are just get promoted from the Championship, is a pretty good result. You have to be happy with that win, right? I thought we were great, so yeah, very happy. Chelsea's convincing 3-0 victory over Everton. Saw you get one over on your former employers. Is this a particularly sweet moment for you? I'm pleased that we were able to win. Everything else comes second to that at the end of the day. Obviously, that's not a question I get very often because I don't often play against our former squad. Usually if I do a save, it's staying at one club for a while. I don't really like to do journeymans nearly as much, but so that's a pretty question I don't normally get. But we are 7 points clear now, ahead of Arsenal and Leeds. Leeds doing well to be in 3rd place, tied in 2nd with Arsenal, just behind on goal difference. As Busk must have got injured, I didn't even notice. Out for 10 to 13 days. That's unfortunate because I would have started him against Sarajevo. Gabriel Enrique's tired. I probably want to start him against Sarajevo too, but I might not be able to. Genovese, great game. Dortmund want Ring now, but he's decided he's happy to stay. He no longer will go for 120 million if we get that. You no longer have the promise anymore. So I don't have to worry about teams coming in for Ring anymore. I think he's going to be a Chelsea player for a long, long time. We've won 9 matches we've gone 9 matches in a row without losing. We haven't won all 9 because obviously we drew with West Ham, but we've won 8 out of the last 9 matches and gone 9 matches without losing. So I'll advance a couple days and figure out my squad for the Sarajevo match, and then I'll see you then. And we are back, but before we get to the team selection, I did sign a few youngsters just a couple weeks ago. They're not going to join just yet, but they'll be joining in January, I believe. January 2nd. No. Yeah, January 2nd. Yeah, this January. So they'll be joining pretty soon. 18 years old for both of them. One is a right winger, one's a left winger. Actually, I think they're both, well, he's a striker slash right winger. So there's another left winger that we brought in a while ago for a free that's going to be joining in January as well. First one we bought is Milton Leon. For 18 years old, he looks pretty dang good. 17 passing, 15 crossing, 14 dribbling, 15 pace, 14 acceleration, 17 agility, 20 determination, 16 flair, 14 off the ball, 15 work rate. He looks really freaking good to me. I think he's got 4-star potential. He's fairly consistent, driven. Doesn't have good adaptability. That's the only problem with him is his adaptability is like, you find it hard to fit into the dressing room. But other than that, I think he's a very good player. I think he's got second most potential we have at right wing other than Daryl Wilson. So he could be our second choice right winger at some point in this save. Even better than some of the youngsters we have already at the squad, Sam Forbes and Russell Williams, some of which will be playing today. The other signing we made, I'll show Musin Yannick. I don't know if I've shown him yet. I signed him on a free contract just at the last transfer window. Might even be the January before that. Yeah, it was the January before that we signed him on a free contract. Just an okay looking left winger for 18. I got him on a free, so it's not a big deal. He's got 4-star potential, so I don't know if he still has 4-star potential. Let's get a new scout report on him. See if he still has that 4-star potential or if they've changed their mind on him. He doesn't look as good as the last guy, but he's really pacey, really good physically. Doesn't have the passing, he has good dribbling, doesn't have the crossing, doesn't have the off the ball, but he's got good teamwork. He's not as good, but he's just for a free option, it's just worth a punt. The other player we signed, obviously Leon we signed for $750K up front, but it could raise up to $5.5 million if he plays like 50 games, scores like 50 goals, which he's probably not going to do, and gets like 20 international appearances. Can I see exactly what the deal is? No, I can only see the contract. It's something like that. So a lot of things that he might never reach. If he never turns into anything, he's only going to be $750K, so that's a bargain. And then Juan Esteban Murillo, he's 17. He just turned 18, I guess. He was 17 when I signed him. Only $300K, raised to $1.2 million, so a super cheap deal. And again, it's the same for the $1.2 million. It's over 50 games, 20 international appearances, so stuff that he might never reach for this club. He's naturally a striker, but I think he's better as a right winger. A right inverted winger, that is. I might actually train him to play left wing, though. He can play left mid, but I might train him to play left wing because his finishing isn't as good as his crossing. So I think I'll train him there. He'll be another option on the left wing. He's got 4-star potential as well. Like I said, when I signed him, he was 17 years old. He turned 18 in November, so a couple of weeks ago. Again, good pace, good physicals on him, good dribbling, really good dribbling. His passing isn't there, though. Mentally, he's not all there. Not very good work rate, but not very good first touch. But other than that, he's pretty good. I don't think he's a striker. I definitely think he's a left winger. And his versatility is kind of another reason why I signed him. Obviously, once he gets to learn left wing, he can play any of the front 4 positions. And at some point, we play all these positions. So he could end up playing a good squad depth role for us. Just a couple of punts I made. I really want this Obina Azuma. He's a 5-star potential. I think he's 19 years old, but he's 3-star current ability, 5-star potential at 19. Says he's best as a wingback, but I would use him as a midfielder. He would be one of our best midfielders. It'd be one of those cases where he's a box-to-box, so I'd move Preben Busk to be our backup deep-line playmaker. Uzoma would be our backup box-to-box, our future box-to-box midfielder. Obviously, he's got poor consistency, which is unfortunate, but I think he could still be good. He just looks amazing for 19 years old, and he's English. If you look at him as a box-to-box midfielder, he can also play deep line playmaker on defend if we need him to, but he's got good long shots and good dribbling. So I kind of want him to play box-to-box, and he's got really good tackling. He just looks amazing. At Fulham, I should be able to get him on a cut price deal. They currently have him transfer listed by request, but their asking price is $68 million, which is his release clause to clubs in the higher division. So I don't know if I can't get him this window because I have no money. I'm over the wage budget. I don't think I can get under the wage budget. No. So I'm over the wage budget, and I have $869K because the team took my transfer budget away from me. I had like $5 million, and they took it away because we're in such bad financial position. We are currently 64 million in debt, which they've been at like 150 million, 157 million at some point. So in comparison to that, it's not bad. And usually throughout a season, you can see by the graph, you'll get in debt over a season, over the length of the season, you'll get in debt. But at the start of the next season, you jump right back up. So, especially a lot of this is just because we signed like $120 million worth of players or something ridiculous. What's that? Look at our transfer history. We signed $180 million worth of players. So a lot of money out. That's all coming from the finances. So it's kind of counteracting the money we got from the media deal. So TV deal, we don't get really. We're taking that money and giving it right into new transfers, and so because of that, we were going to be working at a deficit. So I'm not too worried about this though. I think it'll turn all right, and we've already got good facilities and everything. So it's not like we need to buy facilities and stuff like that. So I think we're going to be fine. But for the Sarajevo match, we've already won. We've already finished top of the group. So I don't need this match. I don't need a win at all. So I'm playing the most youngsters I could. Some of them are a little bit tired, but I still want to give them a shot in the first team. We don't have a whole lot of great young talent at this team. Like when I joined, there was just like no good, great young talent. There was obviously the guys that are part of the first team, like where is he? I've got all the. No wonder I have under 23s and under 18 selected. I have like Daryl Wilson, Phil Savage. They're the youngsters that we had that had potential, and they're already first team quality guys. So we don't really have anyone outside of that. Our best right back is Jason Surge. He's got 3.5 star potential. He's currently 2-star. He's pretty good. He's a good backup right back for us. He could be a good depth guy, but I don't think he's ever going to be a starter. Jeff Singh, you already know. He's just part of the first team already as a backup center back / right back. I don't think he's as good as Surge as a right back, but I don't think Surge can play center back, can he? He kind of can, but he's only 5'9", so no, he can't. He has 6 jumping reach. So he's our backup center back option. Isaac Hall is the guy we got on a free this season, this is the first season he's here. So just a depth piece we got, another depth center back. Hudson, obviously, he's going to play at left back today. Just get us some match sharpness up. I was going to play Marcelli, but he's a little bit tired, and he's fully match sharp. So I want to give Hudson some match sharpness. Jonathan Curtis has to play because we don't have a whole lot of players in the midfield. Like we don't have any good young midfielders. Busk obviously is injured. Muhar's injured, so they can't play. So Curtis needs a little bit of match sharpness. He's going to play. James Fleming's going to play, even though he's a little bit tired. He's going to play as the box-to-box. He's got good dribbling, decent finishing ability. So he's actually a pretty dang good box-to-box if it wasn't for his lack of pace. That's the only thing holding him back is his lack of physical ability. But I think he's a decent option at box-to-box midfielder. I think he's best as a deep-line playmaker. But Curtis really isn't a box-to-box, so I'm going to play him there. Craig Nolan is the most exciting of the bunch. A 16-year-old with 4-star potential, and he already looks pretty dang good. He's naturally an attacking midfielder. He doesn't really have the finishing ability, like the final product of a winger. Only 9 crossing, 9 finishing. He has 12 long shots, but he's also not a good passer, so I don't really know what position he's going to play. I think I'm currently training him as an attacking mid, just working on his passing. Because if he could get that passing up, he could be a good attacking midfielder. But I'm giving him a shot on the right wing. So a 16-year-old is going to be playing for us in the Europa Conference League. Phil Savage is playing on the left. We know all about him. Sam Forbes is another youngster. He's got 3-star potential, but he looks pretty dang good right now as a backup striker. And he can play attacking mid. So he could be a good depth piece for us as well. I think he's going to be a very good, and he can play on the right wing. So he's got a lot of versatility to him. So I think he could be a very valuable depth piece for this team. So I'm going to give him some game time. This is going to be his first game playing for the club, at least under me. He does have a number, so he's probably played for the first team before. But then finally, I said I was going to do it before. Pedro Soler is starting. I'm trying to get him into some good form. Otherwise, I would have played Cerulis. But I really want to kickstart his form back up, get him scoring goals, get him confident. And I think this is the best chance to do that against a team of Sarajevo's quality. And this is the bench I'm going with. Pretty much our normal backup bench. F. Young's actually going to be our backup box-to-box. Because like I said, we don't have a whole lot of options. I could put, not Daryl Wilson. Where is he? Mather there. I could put Mather there as a backup, but I'd rather F. Young gets the minutes than Mather did. So I'm going to put F. Young as our backup box-to-box. He can kind of play in the midfield. He can kind of play box-to-box. finishing or his defending isn't the best, but I don't think he's a deep line playmaker on defend either. So I think his best role in the midfield is box to box for our team. Cerulis is going to be our backup striker, but that's it for the team. Let's get into this game. See if we can beat Sarajevo with a completely youth team. That'd be pretty impressive if we did. I'm going to say I fully expect you to keep our run going and win this match. Didn't really get much reaction, but the Faith always gets quite a good reaction. Jonathan Curtis takes the captain's armband today. What do you see in him as a leader? He's a natural choice under the circumstances and fully merits the decision. He's one of the oldest players we have at the team. You sprung a few surprises with your team selection today. What's the thinking behind that? Some players will play here, others will play in another fixture. It's about using the squad in a balanced fashion. If I could have told them we've already won the group, so this game means nothing to us, I would have. But that's the real case. We've already won the group. This game means absolutely nothing. I don't care about win or a loss. If we were looking for good form and really needed some wins, I would play a strong team. But we're already in good form. We're already getting wins in the Premier League pretty easily. As Soler is through on goal, please score. And Pedro Soler. He's back. He's back finding goals. All it took was Sarajevo, a team from Bosnia and Herzegovina, is all it took for Pedro Soler to finally get on the scoring boards. Great to see. That's the one thing I was really hoping from this match, was to get him scoring, because we need him. He should be our best striker. Him at striker and Wilson at right wing should be our best lineup. But he has to play like it. He has to be in good form. He has to start scoring goals. And hopefully he can keep this going. Hopefully, maybe he can get even more goals. Oh, Curtis. Curtis, what are you thinking? Absolute lunge. And he's off. And I might take Soler off, because I want to give Forbes... he's tired, though. I'll take Forbes off, because I'll have to take him off at some point in this match. I don't really want to take off two strikers, because I'll need to take off Fleming as well. Might not need to take off Singh. I think he's doing all right. Maybe I can afford to do two subs at striker, because I'm going to take him off for a midfielder. And I'm going to bring Cerulis on later, so... I'm going to take Soler off. He got his goal. He broke his duck. Fleming's going to move to deep line playmaker. And F. Young's going to move into the midfield. I don't think Nolan can play deeper, can he? No. Savage can't play deeper either. So we'll just play our wingbacks on defend. Let me click it. Wingback defend. Actually, let's go to this and move him back up. Play him as fullbacks on defend. And still play the way I want to play with this, but just play a little bit more balanced. That's very unfortunate. I wanted to give him some good game time so he could get match sharp, but instead he decides he wants to 2-foot somebody and just gets sent off in the 20th minute. Well, obviously, luckily this match means nothing, because otherwise I would be very upset. But in the end, I don't really care. I'm not too worried. A win or a loss means absolutely nothing to me. Obviously, I like to win every game I can. Obviously, I like to see some of our youngsters play good, play well, just like that. Forbes with the ball back to Phil Savage. And we might be a man down, but we're now 2-0 up. Good to see Savage find the back of the net. It's good to see Forbes being a part of it. Some good play by Forbes here to get the ball to the byline and find a nice ball back to Savage. And a good finish with his left foot, his weaker foot. And it looks like we might still be able to dominate them even without an extra man. Fleming with a free kick now. Going to put the ball in. Looking for Nolan. And our 16-year-old Craig Nolan nearly scores a headed goal in the first half of a Europa Conference League group stage game. That would have been the perfect last bit for this game so far, would be Nolan scoring a goal. Forbes is going to look for a back of the net again. He gets blocked. Getting the ball back to Fleming. He puts it all the way back to Hudson, who obviously is playing a little bit out of position as a right footer playing on the left wing. And he doesn't even have the best left foot, but he can kind of play at left wing or left back. So I think he's going to be fine there. You probably should have gone to that. F. Young, is that? No, that's not F. Young. That's Fleming. Fleming probably should have gone to that, and it might result in a goal, but it doesn't. Their striker hits it very far over the bar. I don't even know if that was in the frame of the goal. That might have been just completely nowhere near the goal. We're going to look to start an attack down this right-hand side between Surge and Fleming. Fleming eventually is going to get it. Back to Surge. Going backwards all the way back to the goalkeeper. He might go long. He might go short. He's going to go semi-long. To Surge out on the right back. Up to the 16-year-old Craig Nolan. Getting, of course, his first start for the team. Obviously, we don't have any other games I'd feel comfortable starting a 16-year-old that's 1.5 star ability in. But I think his attributes, I think, are better than 1.5 star ability. I think he's only 1.5 stars because he doesn't really fit any one specific role. He doesn't have the end product as he finds the back of the net. Craig Nolan, the 16-year-old, scores his first ever Chelsea goal in his first ever Chelsea match in a European competition. What a day for the youngster. Savage with a great ball across with his left foot again. And Nolan at the back post. A nice finish for a guy that doesn't have good finishing. I was about to say he's not pigeoned into any one role because he doesn't have the end product. Like, he doesn't have the passing, the finishing, or the crossing to be a winger or really a very good attacking mid. So he's kind of positionless. So I think that's why he's only 1.5 star ability. But obviously his finishing might not be high, but he could still do a good job with the ball at his foot. He scores a goal to put us 3-0 up. We might be a man down, but we're now 3-0 up. I'm delighted with your performance so far. Keep it up. Curtis, I'm not happy with you, but if you're ever going to 2-foot somebody, this is the game to do it. I don't know why you hate Bosnians that much, but this is definitely the game to 2-foot somebody. Just unfortunately, he'll be unavailable for the next Europa Conference League match, which will be the first game of the... Actually, we should be in the second knockout round because we won the group. I'm pretty sure the winner of the group goes to the second knockout round. They completely skipped the first knockout round. So that's going to be nice. So it's going to be a little bit before we get to play another European game. Looks like Bate is also going to win their group. Guimarães, Nice, AIK, Roma, and Stuttgart, and Desna Chernihiv. All of those are kind of expected, except for maybe Desna Chernihiv, to be winners of their groups. We might not even have to play... Oh, Shakhtar, actually, are bottom of their group with the group with Bate Borisov. And Olympiacos is third. That is a surprising group. Group A is very surprising. But nothing happens in the second half. I forgot to make subs because I was too busy looking at the different groups. That's fine, though, because youngsters got a lot of football, even though they probably are dead by now. But they're not going to play again, so they might as well run till they can't run anymore. Very pleased with the result and your performance, except for you, Jonathan Curtis. I'm disappointed in you for getting sent off. I would have thrashed my arms if it was a game that mattered, but 16 points from a possible 18. Yeah, 18. Thought I did bad math, but I got it right. 17 plus 17 goal difference. This is probably one of the easiest groups we could have gotten, though. Like, Nordsjælland finished bottom. They were probably, like, you would think they'd probably be the best team in the group. But that Norwegian team was okay. Sarajevo, for a team that's not even in the database, like, they're not even in a playable league. Obviously, we don't have the Norwegian league playable either, but they're actually in the game. Like, for a league that's not even in the game, they did pretty well to get through the group. Even though they lost today, they still had a better goal difference than that Norwegian team. So they get through on goal difference. We would have had to really smash them, and that Norwegian team would have had to win by a lot. They only won 2-1. So they would have had to win by a lot more than that if they're going to be able to get through, or we would have had to really have smoked Sarajevo. So Sarajevo had a pretty comfortable job as well. We win despite the red card. We don't even allow a goal after the red card. I'm going to fine him 2 weeks' wages and I'm not going to appeal because that was a definite 2-foot lunge. Savage on form, 2 assists and a goal. Great performance from Phil Savage. He's really starting to develop. He's now a 3-star player, got 3.5-star potential. 17 passing, 17 vision, 17 teamwork, 17 technique. He's a very good attacking midfielder. I don't think he's a striker still. Only 11 finishing. He's got the composure and all that, but he doesn't have the finishing. I was thinking about training him with the way to score, but likes to round keeper is what he's got. I don't remember if I gave that to him or if he already had it, but that is perfect for him. He's got the composure. He's got the technique for it. He's got the dribbling for it. And his finishing doesn't matter at that point because once you're around the keeper, it's harder to miss than it is to score. So that's the perfect trait for him. But I still don't think he's a striker. He could play there if we were desperate, but I think he's either a right winger or an attacking midfielder. He's got the ability to do both. He's got the crossing ability to be a right winger. He's also obviously a left inverted winger because he's played there a lot. Welsh, homegrown, non-foreign. He's a great player. He's going to play for this team for a long time. But if we look at the schedule, see when we'll be back. Obviously, I don't know when the second knockout round is going to get drawn for. We've got Bristol City in the EFL Cup quarterfinal and Lincoln City in the FA Cup third round. If we get a tough team for the semifinal of the EFL Cup, I might come back for that. Otherwise, Leeds Arsenal, I think, is a pretty good game to come back for. Leeds in second, Arsenal in third. Gosh, that run is so ridiculous. We got 11th, who they won the league 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. 3 years ago. They won the league 3 years ago. Arsenal won it last year. Everton won it the year before. Southampton won it twice in a row, 3 and 4 years ago. But they've sold all of their good players pretty much. Like, they've done what Southampton does. They grow amazing players because they've got a good youth academy, but then they sell them all away for hundreds of millions and do nothing with the money. So they're in 11th. They fired their manager, but they're still a good team. Leeds in second, Arsenal in third, City in fifth, United in ninth, Liverpool in 8th, Wolves in 12th. Villa aren't doing well. Villa did well last year. They're not doing well this year. They're in 16th place. I think they have European football. Am I right about that? No, I am not. They do not have European football. I thought they finished in the European spaces. They were 13th last year. They did better than I thought. Or they did worse than I thought, that is. So we'll see when I come back. It's either going to be Leeds Arsenal or I think it's going to be Leeds Arsenal because I don't think the EFL Cup semifinal is going to be before then. It might be like around this Bournemouth match. But I still think, I still think I'll probably come back for Leeds Arsenal. I think that's just too big of a match to turn down, and it's not going to, if the EFL Cup semifinal is scheduled in between the quarterfinal and this Leeds match, it's not going to be a very big break between that and Leeds, and I really want to show Leeds Arsenal. So I think I'll be seeing you next time for Leeds Arsenal. If you've made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. The links to all my socials are also in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.